Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another video of Yugioh Cross Duel. As promised, this is another deck explanation video where I go over a particular free-to-play deck that will get you guys to platinum. Alright, now what we're looking at here is the reason for why the production of this video took so long. One of the biggest aspect and difference between this decks and the other ones I have showcased so far is that this deck is less accessible to free-to-play players because a lot of the strongest spells are in the SR tier rather than the rare tier. Cards like Sorcerer Living Light, Enemy Controller, Fairy Meteor Crush, and Poisonous Winds are a must in this deck. And as you can see, I don't even have Enemy Controller. Enemy Controller being a very vital card because, as I have mentioned before, cards that can be used both offensively and defensively are very important in Cross Duel. And so what Enemy Controller does is select one of your opponent's monster and change its battle position. So yeah, that's huge. Okay, it can get you. It can stop your opponent from dealing damage to you, and it can enable you to deal damage to your opponent. Enemy Controller is a fantastic card. However, I don't have it. I have to live with that. And for the purpose of this video, we're just gonna go through without Enemy Controller. I mean, the deck's still pretty decent even without it. But if you do have it, blessed are you. Now, Sorcery Living Light being important due to the fact that you can select one monster and it gains Immobile and Phantom until the end of the turn. Alright, immobility means he can't move, and Phantom means he cannot deal damage. So it's a key factor in this deck. And if you don't have it, don't worry, I'll talk about some potential replacements that you could add in and sort of deal with it. But you know, you wanna play this card if you have it. Alright, now there's no replacement for this card. Okay, Fairy Meteor Crush, select one monster, it gains Pierce, and until the end of the turn, 400 attack. A fantastic card for any deck, but especially in this deck. And Poisonous Wind, select one or two lanes ahead of you. There are two or more opponents. All the monsters in that lane lose 800 attack, and it gains slowdown. Now that is a big deal because one of the things that ends up happening when everybody sees you playing Wizardry deck or Mila the Temporal Magician, which we will be using today, is they're all going to come after you because you don't have that much defense and you're easy pickings. Okay, easy life ones to steal. One more important card that you might have, but I certainly don't, is Scroll of Bewitchment. All right, if you don't have this, you can trade for it. The only reason I haven't traded for it because I have other cards that fill in this slot just as well. Essentially, select one level 4 or lower monster, it gains Phantom. Now the only drawback of this card is that it only works on level 4 or lower monsters. So big ace monsters, well, this card is not going to do a goddamn thing to those monsters. However, it's a fantastic card and a fantastic replacement for cards like Sorcerer Living Light if you don't have it. Alright, I feel like it was very important for me to mention that, and that's why I took a special take on this. Alright then, carrying on. Now, let's get to the current version of the deck I'm playing and go into detail, shall we? So we're playing Mila the Temporal Magician with double Wizardry and the skill Seal, which applies negation to all skills the opponent's monster. Now you could technically choose defense debuff with when battling an opponent's defense position monster, it loses 300 defense, and it will still be good. Or you could even use attack boost for an extra attack boost for Mila the moment she's summoned. However, I feel negation right now is better because there's a lot of monsters with curse, which slow down Mila, and detonate, which will decrease her attack by 500 attack. and you don't want that. You don't want Mila getting nerfed or especially slowed down. That's where negation comes in play, making Mila at 1800 attack point monster with double wizardry one of the best wizardry monsters. Okay, let's move it along, shall we? Let's get into the deck. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm running about 7 monsters including my ace, and these monsters are a must-have. Okay, except for the SR, and well, actually even on the SR tier, they're very important. Okay, they're very strong. Except, I would say, except Dragon Dowser. Okay, which you could replace with potentially Preformer Power Silverclaw. These SRs are all important. We have White Dragon Head, Sea Metal Tank, and V Tiger Jet with their ability of super speed, and they're essential for going for the middle card. And it's something you want to do as much as you can, because the middle card contains both Monster Reborn and Dark Hole, which are spells that will power up your Mila while also protecting you. Okay. Let's talk about what area the Melodious Diva and why she's important. She has an ability to slow down an enemy monster, which is huge, because you could do it to get the middle card, or you could even do it to defend yourself in the later stages of the game. Now, here's a guy you definitely gonna want to have, but if you and it's gonna make the deck worse if you don't have him. Okay, Stargazing Magician, with the ability to give all of your monsters destruction immunity. And one of the biggest weaknesses of this deck is Blue Eyes, and the ability to destroy Mila the Temporal Magician. Well, if Mila the Temporal Magician is destroyed by Blue Eyes, you're done. You're not winning. At this point, you're just competing not to be last. Okay? Let's go into the spell lot. I already talked about Sorcery Revealing Light, already talked about Furious Meteor Crush and Poisonous Wind. Let's talk about Mystical Space Typhoon. Mystical Space Typhoon is a big deal in this deck, because you don't want to be falling into too many traps out there. You don't want your opponent stopping you from winning as quickly as you can. And so that's where Mystical Space Typhoon comes in. Alright, Mystical Bestiary activates the wizardry in all monsters. So essentially, instead of it being a 600 attack boost, this gets a 1200 attack boost. And the same can be said for Horn of the Unicorn, which normally boosts your attack by 600. Shield and Sword. Sometimes Mela, as she's going through a lane and just destroying monsters, her attack's gonna get a little low. Well, guess what? Wizardry boosts both attack and defense, so you use Shield and Sword, and then you switch to her defense and deliver the final blow for victory. Alright, I mentioned earlier how with Fairy Meteor Crush, how Pierce is very important. Well, we're playing Pierce, okay, because it is very important in this deck, and you should all play it. Alright, Dark World Shackles. I mentioned I don't know if I mentioned it with Poisonous Wind, slowing down opponent's monster. It's a very impactful, because everyone's going to come after you the moment they find out you're running wizardry, and so you want to slow them down. Give Mela the Temporal Magician as much time as you can buy her so she can finish off whatever opponent's lane she's going through. Alright, Elf's Light. Almost every monster in this deck is a light, except for maybe 2, and so you're gonna be it can be used for Mila, who's also a light, for a grand total of 1400 attack boost when you combine the 800 plus the 600 from wizardry. Okay, Block Attack, another defensive spell. Stop Defense, working similar to Pierce, and allowing you to, you know, get through and get that life points hit. Shield Hander. I talked about Blue Eyes being a threat. Shield Handler is the best card to deal with Blue Eyes, and so we're playing Shield Handler. Yep. Okay, now let's talk about some replacements for these SRs you don't have. As I probably mentioned earlier, there's no replacement for Fairy Meteor Crush. In fact, I would even go as far as saying if you don't have Fairy Meteor Crush, just don't play this deck. Alright, it's going to be less consistent. You're probably still going to be able to make it to Plat without having Fairy Meteor Crush, but the moment you get to Plat, you're going to get crushed for not having Fairy Meteor Crush. Alright, some of the potential spells you could use instead of Sorcery Revealing Light and Poisonous Winds, well, here they are. Okay, you can use double attack for extra oomph. Alright, select one monster gains extra attack. Extra attack means that whenever the monster is about to deal some damage, he's going to get 1000 attack boost. As we all know, Mela doesn't get 1000 attack, just 1000. She gets 1600, making this a nice little offensive card there when Mila finally gets through. Of course, that is the downside of this card. Mila has to finally get through. Alright. On the defensive side, you want to use Rightful Magic. Sometimes your opponent will summon a monster in attack. You use Rightful Magic. Mila gets a 600 attack boost from this wizardry, and then your opponent loses 800 attack. So that's basically technically 400 attack difference, which is huge. Alright, very important since this deck plays a lot of super speed decks and you don't want Mila getting slowed down. Rush Legacy comes really big into the picture, because the moment your monster is slowed down, you go ahead and activate Rush Legacy, and guess what? Mila's back at full speed. In fact, she's even better than before. She's faster. Alright, so Rush Legacy, a fantastic card for this deck. By God, please play it, because it can already give the monsters that have super speed, hyper speed, and that could still a game in the very late game. That about wraps it up for the alternatives. I think it's time to head to a duel, shall we? Actually, before we head to the actual match, there's one thing I like to mention. The way you want to play this deck is that if you draw into V Tiger Jet, C Middle Tank, Y Dragon Head, or even Area de Melodious Diva in the first turn, that turn you're going for the middle card, so you might want to summon Mila that first turn and reveal that yes, you're playing Wizardry, but since you're going for the middle card, it's okay, because it's big risk, big reward. If you manage to get through, you're gonna have an extra spell in your hand, potentially, or if not, you're gonna have some protection with Mirror Force. The worst thing you can get from the middle is Ring of Destruction, and even that is not that bad. Alright, but other than that, any other scenario other than that where you do not draw into White Dragon Head, C Middle Tank, and V Tiger Jet, what you want to do is you want to hang back and not summon Mila until someone's coming to your lane. And I'm not talking about the guy on the other side of the middle. You can deal with him in whichever manner you feel is best. But most of the time, the guy coming from the other side across is going to tribute the monster that's coming across, and not going to be doing too much damage to you in the first place. But that's besides the point. The point is, you want to play keep away with what you're playing. You don't want your opponent knowing that you're playing Wizardry, because most good players will know to go after you the moment they find out you're playing Wizardry. Alright? Keep that in mind. And with that, let's go to a match, shall we?
I built the ultimate battle arena because duels this important deserve nothing but the best.
Alright, here we go.
Duel!
This looks like it's going to be a difficult match.
Draw a card. It's the main phase of the first
Oh, and it looks like I have to go all out right away since I drew the C Metal Tank. Now, who to go with? Andy or Nikov? I think I'm going to go for Andy. That sounds like a cool name. Seriously, no other reason other than that. So we put C Metal Tank in the middle and Mila on the left. Since, as I mentioned earlier, if you draw into C Metal, you have no choice but to play the Mila. Because right now, you're going to see me play some spells in order to ensure that I get the middle card.
Are you ready?
Probably block attack. Ooh, you know what I'm a little afraid of here? It's that trap card right there. In fact, I am panicking here.
Let them witness the cause of their demise.
Now, it looks to me like my opponent across from me is also playing Wizardry. So, potential ally there. Andy on my left didn't play a thing. So, we'll see what happens with that trap card that's right across from me.
Full speed ahead.
There we go. I got Monster Reborn. That is a big deal.
We end our turn. Draw a card.
Okay.
It's the main phase of the second turn.
Now, what I'm going to do here is interesting. I'm going to
No monsters
tribute
are coming your way, but stay alert. Your tribute
my sea metal
summon was
tank
successful.
and special summon this guy right here to protect my Mila from any blue eye shenanigans. Okay? And then I'm going to Monster Reborn the sea metal tank to go down back down middle lane. Potentially. We'll see.
Are you ready?
Ooh, he's got a trap in the back. Times like this I wish I had Mystical Space Typhoon.
Show 'em.
So there's my destruction protection.
Enter the battle phase.
Alright, so here's how I'm going to do it. The first thing I'm going to do... Oh, Mystical Space Typhoon on who? Oh, that's very nice of him. What did he destroy? Oh, Shield Hander. Okay, that's cool. Alright. Perfect. I think I'm going to go for game here. Yellow Luster Shield. He's boosting himself. Okay. Actually, I'll let him play out his moves before I do anything. Alright, that's gonna boost him again. Yeah, just in case he decides to mess with me, I'll use block attack. So he's gonna debuff over there for an 800 attack. Is he gonna use that last card? I actually don't know. Alright, my turn. I'm gonna go ahead and block attack here.
Go! Not bad.
Then I'm gonna use Monster Reborn. Bring back the Sea Metal tank. Bring it back on this lane.
I activate the spell. Monster Reborn. Let's go.
Power up with Elf Light.
Not bad.
This should be game here unless something bad happens.
That's a good move. Not bad.
Mystical Bestiary.
That's a good move.
That's gonna give me like 6,000 attack or something like that. Oh no, 5,000. No, 5,600. And now it goes with Pierce. But I'm gonna wait till the last 2 seconds to activate Pierce, because I imagine he'll want to activate something as well. And here it is, Pierce. I gotta make sure that Andy here has nothing to stop me, because he could still have a spell to stop me. Very possible.
Not bad.
So 6,200. Basically, I'm gonna deal 5,000 damage to Andy. Not a good day to be Andy, ladies and gentlemen.
Full speed ahead.
Yep, not a good day to be Andy.
Not bad.
Negation activates, negates the ability that he has to pierce, and here's 5,000 damage to poor Andy. Sorry Andy, nothing personal, I'm just trying to showcase the deck. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this deck can do. I feel bad for Jen over there because he basically burned himself to third place. He could have been second. Well, pretty nuts, huh? What this wizardry deck can do. Well, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a great day. And please, the production of the video, of this particular video, took a long time. So if you could just give me a like, I'd really appreciate it.